Everyone, this is Xander Breach, and this is my weight loss journey, part 15. Before I continue, I want to apologize for the long, exhausting wait that you guys had to deal with me coming out with part 15. I'm really sorry. I know you guys have been waiting, just I had to deal with some issues. Before I go any further, please watch the warning video. I cannot stress that enough because, like I said before, I don't need your kids getting any ideas. So, let's not waste any time. On with the show. Part 15 is probably starts, excuse me for that error, a week or so later after my 20th birthday. May I remind you that just when I thought I was about to have fun, keep this in mind, because it's going to come to clear point at the end of this video, everything will go downhill. So, what happened was my adopted dad decided he was going to have a family get together. Have a little celebration, of us being in Texas, and he wanted the family to come for a little get together like a potluck. My stepmom was already preparing barbecue meatballs, getting everything all set up to have like this huge family party, if you will. And of course, everyone hears, hey, my adopted dad's having a get together, everyone comes over. Golden opportunity to meet some of the family members I haven't met yet. That's on my adopted dad's side of the family. So I take the opportunity, I'm a social butterfly, so talking to family, was pretty easy for me. Adoptive dad, of course, had his taste in music, so a lot of the music that was getting played was a lot of country. I didn't mind. I was actually already into country anyways, as well as other music he hated, but I didn't mind listening to country music. My stepmom is a huge Alan Jackson fan, so she played a lot of his old school music, his greatest hits, if you will. And getting into the music, I joined in, and we were dancing to a bunch of Alan Jackson hits. It was awesome. You had quite a few of his songs. I don't want to mention them, but yeah, really jamming out. Getting to know the family, having a good time, But I let one thing slip out of my mouth. One thing. And like I said, things go good, they get bad too. So, I think my second cousin on my adoptive dad's side, she's Spanish. Her name, I don't want to mention her name, but, she asked me a question if I get out more. I told her, honestly, I don't get out a lot. That was the biggest mistake I could make. May I remind you, I did not know she was going to say something to my adoptive dad and stepmom. Seriously. So, the fun continued. Pictures were being taken. I was spending time with the pups, the dogs, if you will. It was a good time. But I just did not know what was in store for me the next day. The family stuck around, and for those who need to go to sleep, because rest's important, they ended up leaving early. Didn't really bother us that much. We were partying. Adoptive dad was getting down, drinking his NA beer, having the time of our lives. But the best thing about that time, other than spending time with family, and I have to be real with you, one of the best times I had that night is looking at the night sky during the fall of Texas. Fall time in Texas, the night sky colors up like a painting. And it's just so fascinating to watch. You're sitting out in the nice, cool breeze going across your face, and it was just flat out awesome. I mean, who wouldn't want to look at a beautiful night sky, a beautiful sky in another state? I actually do. I mean, I don't know about you, but who wouldn't? So I would say that was probably one of the best things about being in Texas. You know, is like every time you go outside during the nighttime, the sky colors up like a painting. And it's always beautiful to see it, especially out in the countryside. Even though I'm not a huge fan of the countryside, I'm just going to be real with you. Countryside in Texas got some nice sky textures. I mean, God paints the sky in Texas. I mean, He paints the sky here in Florida. We get the rainbows and all that, but in Texas, you get the beautiful painted like skies that can only be created from Jesus himself. So, back to what I was talking about. So, we had a really good gathering. Some of the family members stayed and helped do some cleaning. And I guess, one of them, the one I was talking to, that I said something to, she and I were putting away the food, and she's like, I like snacking too, because she noticed I like snacking while I was putting away the food. She's like, I like snacking while I put away the food too. So I was like, someone who's just like me in the family. But she never told my adoptive dad that either. I was like, keep that in the shush. If adoptive dad step up, I don't know doing this, I'm going to get in trouble. I mean, you can understand in my mind I'm freaking out. I don't want them to find out. I should have had that same logic when I told her about how I don't get out that much. So, I guess somewhere towards that night, I guess my stepmom found out, and they were getting on to my stepmom about it, and she didn't like it. You see, I have to take the heat when they get on my case. But when it comes down to me or them, they can't take the heat. In order for them to take the heat, they have to jump someone else's case. In my perspective, my case. So if they have to take the heat, I have to take the heat. And my adoptive dad's logic was stupid. Back then, it was just stupid. You see, he felt it was right to run his mouth about me. But when it came to me, myself, and I couldn't do that. This goes back to the Bible, honor thy father, thy mother. Okay, there was a reason why I did not honor the man's attitude. I honored everything else about him. Don't get me wrong. But when it came to his attitude, and it came to his discipline, no, I didn't honor that. Seriously, I didn't. Because, you see, biblically, he was wrong too. And if he's hearing this is why I never listened to you. Here's your answer you've been looking for years. It's because the fact is that the one thing you single-handedly forget in the Bible is that father should not provoke his child and bring them to wrath. You've done that a lot. Or he done that a lot, if anyone else is listening to this. And we were both in the wrong. Yeah, I should have still honored him, even though I got cussed at and yelled at in the face. But I just didn't think his attitude and how he acted towards me certain times needed to be honored. I honored everything else, but when it came to that, no, I didn't honor it. You don't degrade your child. You don't. And if you're a parent listening to this, please understand, your kid will get rebellious if you degrade them. If you put them down, if you hurt their feelings, if you treat them like trash, they will be rebellious. Keep in mind, yes, the Bible says, honor thy father, thy mother. Okay? But don't forget what the Bible says for you as a parent. If you're a parent who follows the Bible, your child will do the same thing. Just keep that in mind. So if your child's not listening to you, you might want to check yourself. I ain't criticizing. I'm just speaking as someone who had to deal with a father who was the same way. Degrade. I'm speaking in the terms of the child, the son, if you will, not the parent. So if you think I'm speaking as a parent, no, I'm not. I'm speaking as the child, the son. So please keep that in mind. That is your lesson for this part. Now time to find out what happened the next day. So the next day comes around. My stepmom and my adoptive dad are having a talk. They get to talking. Stepmom spills the beans about what was mentioned to one of the family members. Then they come to me and they ask, did you mention to one of the family members that you don't get out that often? Being honest, I said, yes, I did. And they jumped my case. It wasn't little bit of trouble because you told the truth. It was more like, let's jump this kid's case or this dude's case and tell him off. Once again, just when I thought everything was going good in Texas, I get my case jumped again. I did not miss this at all. Seriously, I didn't. I get jumped about why I would mention that. And they're like, you get out that often. Why do you have to mention that? Cussing me out. I don't remember the words instinctively, but I do know one thing is for sure. I was mad. I didn't want to mention anything to them again. I was just ticked off inside. I was like, oh! I mean, it's true. I didn't get out often. If you really hated the fact that I mentioned that, help me get out often. Let's go find something for me to do. Find something for me to do. Help me go hang out, make some new friends. Is that too much to ask? But lucky for me, I was going to have friends later, so at that time, I would actually think I wouldn't be too worried about it. Because living out in the countryside, there wasn't much neighbors that were my age per se. And I was hanging around with a lot of the older family members, so there was probably a reason why I wasn't getting out that often, but at the same time, dealing with them because one of the family members mentioned something I said and they couldn't take the heat got on my last nerve. I mean, literally. My mind was about to blow up. So, after that ordeal and having to face the music the next day, I didn't know that I didn't know my stepmom, my adoptive dad, would have plans days later. Those plans were to go back to Florida and try to figure out what's going on, and my adoptive grandfather would go with them. I, on the other hand, would stay at home. And I was going to be going to my uncle's house. Great uncle, if you will. And what I was about to experience going to that man's house would probably be one of the best times I've had since arriving there. Other than the family get-together, this was going to be the best times I ever had. And I have to tell you, it wasn't going to be nothing like dealing with that family. My adoptive dad and stepmom. And it was going to be like my own personal vacation for them while they went out to Florida. And I have to say, I needed it. I really did. I needed time away from them. And that's exactly what I was going to get. So, this has been part 15. Y'all have a great day. God bless you. And I look forward to seeing you again in part 16. Bye.